All right, guys, welcome into Real Talk Tuesday. It's the late edition at this point right now. You see the face on the screen. This is the number one story that is dominating. It's become a national story. Started out as a local story here in South Carolina, and this story definitely has turned into a national story. Again, welcome into Real Talk Tuesday. If it's your first time here, welcome. Um, After you've been here for a little while and you found some value in anything that I have to say, please hit that like button to bring somebody else into this conversation. I know I'm starting off way late tonight, but it's just what we're doing. Had a lot to do today. The weather, the heat. I hope you're staying hydrated out there because this heat, this weather has been, to say it's been hot is an understatement as to what's going on. It's dangerously hot out there. So, if you got to be out there, please make sure you hydrate. Um, let's see, can I hear myself on this? All right. Yes, we can. Get whole new setup. And to those of you who are wondering, like, but dang, he ain't putting nothing on Andrew's the podcast no more. The page, I will be doing that here. Again, I'm getting into this new system, learning this new system here, and what it is all about. Yeah, the number one story that's been dominating the news has been the story out of Pawleys Island. Before we get to that, I want to bring you guys' attention to some events that are coming up locally. One big event that I'm definitely looking forward to is going to be Labor Day weekend. Now, this is going to be a 3-day, 4-day event, I think. Hold on a second. Let me get the flyer up here. Again, for those of you just scrolling along, you came across this right here. Welcome. You are now tuned into Andrew's the podcast, number one podcast in Georgetown County. And so Labor Day weekend, this event right here is going to be going down. Let me put this on the screen right here. Not there. Put it right there. There you go. And that's the Muscadine Festival. Okay. And that's going to take place at the Williams Family Vineyard and Farms. And I visited the farm the other day, and I don't have the pictures loaded, but listen, beautiful place. Again, this is going to be a 3-day event, and on Thursday night there's going to be a pig picking, I guess you can call it, but they're going to be roasting a pig. On Friday night, there's going to be the wine tasting and the campsite conversations with Mr. Joseph McGill. Let's see, what are we doing here? And on Saturday, of course, there's going to be the SC250 Indigo Festival. Again, if you are a vendor, I'm going to put some information up on the screen here real fast that you definitely want to check out. Again, this is going to be a great event, Labor Day weekend. Food vendors, please go ahead and reach out now because there's not a lot of food vendor spots. Okay. So this is an opportunity for you to come in there and make some good money on that. don't know if the vending is going on from Thursday to, but anyway, you can find more information by the flyer that you see on the screen right there. Also, on that evening, Mr. Joseph McGill, on that evening, on that weekend, this is conversations, campfire conversations with Mr. Joseph McGill, who is the founder of the Slave Dwelling Project. This is again Saturday, September 4th. You see the date and the time on the screen. This is the official kickoff to the Indigo Festival that's going to take off, that weekend, which is the Muscadine Festival that down in Neesmith, South Carolina. Miss Cassandra was asking me, did you say it was in Neesmith? Yes, it's in the big city of Neesmith, South Carolina. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to share the photos with you guys of the place. I got to get approval first. I can't be sharing aerial photos of people's property without express written permission. So definitely put this on your calendar. Saturday, September 5th, Muscadine Festival, Neesmith, South Carolina. 4 days. And again, it's all going to culminate on Sunday with fireworks and all. And they said it's Sunday. Yes, because it's Labor Day weekend. You don't have to work that Monday. So go ahead and put it on your calendar. Going to be a great event. All right, so let's get into what is going on in Georgetown County. How are we going to start this, right? We're going to start this like so, right? We're going to bring this video up here, okay? And this is Georgetown County Sheriff. Let's bring him over here so I can restart him. Georgetown County Sheriff Mr. Carter Weaver. And for those of you who don't know, there's a situation that took place at a church in Pawleys Island. I don't want to call it the wrong name, but I think Pawleys Island Community Church, PI, where a pedophile, a person that is currently on the sex offender list, who was convicted of some crimes against children, was hired to work in the maintenance department of this particular church. Okay. And you had a parent that reported this, got concerned, saw the person on the sex offender list and reported it to authorities, and authorities investigated, and the man was arrested. So on the screen again, you see here Sheriff Carter Weaver, and I'm going to let Sheriff Carter Weaver give you more detail as to what is going on now. The person in question is this gentleman right here, Mr. Warren Perry. This is the man who was hired to work at the school. Now, also arrested recently was the pastor of the church. And here's a shot of him, Mr. Don Williams. Let's get Mr. Williams up on the screen. There's Mr. Williams right there. Okay, along with Mr. Williams being arrested, his wife was also arrested. The first lady was arrested too, Miss Jenny Williams, or Jenny. I don't know how she pronounces that. Should be Jenny. Okay, and then along with her, another staff member was arrested, and that was this lady right here, Miss Jennifer Nikki Howard. Okay, and there's some footage of Miss Howard getting bond. Her bond was set at $75,000, and most of these folks have bonded out. This man did not have a bond. Okay. And people are saying, oh, because listen, in the United States of America, there's a thing called due process. So once you're charged with the crime, you go and have a bond set on you, right? And depends on the severity or the nature of the crime, you may not get a bond, or you may have other circumstances that stop you from getting a bond. Okay, like in the case of the Mr. Perry, he was it's a probation hold that he's on. Okay, now I don't know how he was able to make bond on the I don't know that process, but anyway, I know that the process that they went through today in bond court. People need to understand the process. The bond court judge is there to set bond. That's all he can do. He sets bond, and he's not there to hear the case. He's not there to hear the evidence on whether the person's, make a judgment on whether the person's guilty or innocent. He can't sentence anybody in that phase. I saw Judge Giles was the one who was setting bond on when they had the bond hearing today. But yeah, it's not and due to the nature of Mr. Perry's charges, his bond has got to be set through general session. So a lot of y'all need to calm down. But anyway, let's see what the sheriff has to say.
And brought to justice, while connecting young victims with the services they need to heal. I vowed to you last week to investigate this case and hold accountable anyone who fails the norms set by society through violations of the law. And that
now, I'm going to start that right there, and I'm going to say this. Hats off to the people of that church, because the sheriff couldn't do nothing without information. Shout out to the people. Hats off, attaboy to the folks over in that church. I'm gonna get that name of that church.
is what we're doing. Allow me to go back and give you a brief historical review of what our initial findings were in this case. Pawleys Island Community Church and Pawleys Island Christian Academy is a church and a school by license and definition located at 10304 Ocean Highway in the unincorporated area of Georgetown County, also in the Pawleys Island area of South Carolina. Warren Perry, the convicted sex offender, provided services there as a custodian. A concerned citizen made everyone aware of his activities being around children at Pawleys Island Christian Academy after she viewed Mr. Perry on the sex offender registry. At that point, he is a known sex offender and was found to be in close proximity of children at the Pawleys Island Christian Academy. This information was brought to our attention, and we verbally interviewed church officials last Sunday, July 12th. At that time, the church leadership stated that Warren Perry did volunteer at the church 7 days a week, and the church has taken measures to ensure that he is not allowed around children. Again, that was last Sunday when we received the initial complaint from a concerned citizen that Warren Perry was in fact around children at the Pawleys Island Christian Academy. Information was later obtained that that statement given to us by church leadership was simply not true. And my office contacted Triple P, Probation, Pardon, and Parole, to see the status of Perry, who is currently being supervised by their office here in Georgetown County. That occurred on the morning of July the 13th, the next business day after our initial contact with the church. Triple P conducted an interview and determined that Warren Perry was in fact in violation of his probation and subsequently arrested. Let me give you some history on Warren Perry. He resides at 4273 Santolino Way here in Georgetown County. He was charged by the Georgetown County Sheriff's Office in August of 2020 for sexual exploitation of a minor, 2 counts. The case was disposed of in November 29th of 2023, where he was found guilty of 1 count, and the second was subsequently dismissed by the solicitor's office. He was ordered at that time not to have contact with minors, where he was placed on a 10-year sentence, suspended to 5 years probation. So again, he was arrested by my agency in August of 20. The case was disposed of in November of 2023, and then our investigation shows us that he became employed, or what one could simply or reasonably conclude as employment, at the Pawleys Island Christian Church and the Pawleys Island Christian Academy, Pawleys Island Community Church and Pawleys Island Christian Academy shortly after his arrest in 2020. Not after his disposition in 23, but he came to what anybody would call employed in 2020.
That's shortly after the man was arrested the first time. That's the kind of thing that they talk about with Epstein, with all these rich people and all these powerful people who kept the relationship up with him after his first conviction.
After his arrest, his role being that of maintenance. Now let's go over the role of other folks involved in this case. Don Williams. Don Williams is the past pastor and owner-operator of Pawleys Island Community Church and Pawleys Island Christian Academy. Jenny Williams is the wife to Pastor Don Williams. She is also found in the hierarchy line of decision-making, not only for the church, but the school, and she's paid by the church for her services daily. Nikki Howard. She is director of the Pawleys Island Christian Academy. Our investigation began last week in statements from teachers, parents, church members, and officials associated with the church and PICA, Pawleys Island Christian Academy. A review of records obtained through search warrants. That's been done since last week. A review of recorded statements given by then pastor last Tuesday after Warren's role at the school was challenged. So last Tuesday, once Mr. Warren's role was being challenged by my agency and Triple P, Mr. Williams was interviewed on tape. And I would like to play you that tape now that happened at Triple P here in Georgetown.
All right, Triple P, he means parole, pardon, and thing. And I'm going to take that off the screen here. I'm going to turn this off and I'll play that video for you guys. Let me move Jenny's face and Mr. Don's face off screen here. And this is what the sheriff is. All right, where are we at? All right, maybe that'll stop some. Yep, that stopped all that lagging. So what happens is sometimes I load videos on into the program and I need to render those things down to a size that is going to work. Anyway, let's look at the video of this is the pastor. This is Pastor Don, or former Pastor Don. I don't know what they're referring to him as now. Let's see. Let's get you over here in the corner, Pastor D. No, I don't want you there. I don't want you there. Where are you going? Anyway, Pastor Don won't move. There, Pastor Don is right there. All right. So here's Pastor Don at the parole office, checking on his buddy, checking on Warren. And then they ask him, you hear it for yourself. Hold on a second. Let's late show. There we go. Pastor Don. Get a little audio for
We are taking him into custody.
Excuse me?
Yeah, we're taking him into custody because of the complaints and the information that we've received between yesterday and today. He will go to bond court.
Listen, what complaints have you received that he was in violation of his?
He's had contact with minors. He's not allowed to have contact with minors.
Good to find contact with minors.
Going in classrooms.
He just said
like
that the man wasn't in
same
contact with
minors.
minors.
Okay. If he ever was, he was not. I mean, he was not going into classrooms with minors.
Right, so he'll go to an administrative hearing on July 29th, and I'm pretty positive he wants you to be present to speak on his behalf. Because it's been brought to our attention, not only by the sheriff's office, but by some community members, we had to address it today. So he's gonna go to the jail, he'll go to bond court, he'll get a bond, he can get out.
All right, again, that was the pastor right there. That was Pastor Don. Let me move these videos off because these videos got this thing lagging. Let's get you out of here. Boom. Now we're back to the regularly scheduled speed and program. But yeah, that was Pastor Don right there. Pastor Don decided to lie to the cops because Pastor Don said, no. This man was never, no way. He was never around kids. And as you can see from this picture right here, which is going to be shot number 7, not only is he around children, but he's having his feet washed. I'm not really well versed on the Christian religion. Okay, just keeping it 100. Because somebody explained to me what the feet washing thing is all about right here. Let me move this off the screen so you guys can see the feet washing. And here's a man that has done what that's pled guilty to what he did involving children. And the pastor is up in parole and probation saying that no, he's not around children. Look at this man sitting here getting his feet washed. Again, I need somebody to educate me on that. And you see these little hearts over here? Yeah, those are children. Watching a pedo get his feet washed. And also, they said that, the pastor said, no. They had things in place to make sure that he wasn't around the kids. This was something that I think they called Water Day. And there is that man eyeballing somebody's child. Having been convicted. Again, salute to the people of Pawleys Island, of that church and that community that stood up and put these bastards where they belong. Now the question is, does this set a precedent for other churches that employ these sexual deviants without warning anybody? There's people in the church that probably look at these sex offender registries like I do. You know, because if I didn't look at them, then how would I know that a rapist preached to me on Mother's Day? Yeah, a man convicted of rape. Not grape, not the R word, rape. So, yeah, I hope this sets a precedent. This should scare all of you religious leaders and religious people in leadership that you should be more careful as to who you hire. You should be more careful as to who it is you hire. And for parents and family members that attend these places of worship or any place where, you know, trust has always been given to these people, how many times do they have to prove to you that they should not be trusted? I don't care who they are. I don't care how good he preached. I don't care what the message was that Sunday. Trust but verify. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with giving the code, the climate that we're living in today, where a person should be offended to have their background ran. And if you are too soft to offend people by whatever, by what they shouldn't be offended by, then that's just on you. And you shouldn't be in leadership. You're dangerous. You're a dangerous person. So yeah, I like the action that the community took. I like the sheriff department got behind what the community gave them, and justice is hopefully going to be served in this case. But this is why you can't take your eye off of this type of stuff. Okay, this person, he didn't invite himself, and he came in. He probably went to the preacher and told him how sorry he was, and the preacher said that God heard him and forgave him, or whatever the deal is, and then chose to lie about it. So, don't know what they had going on over there. People should really need to look into it. So, but again, this story's not going anywhere, obviously, and we'll be here to cover it. And again, I'm back rolling again. Sorry about being late tonight, but again, share this, like this. Also remember, put on your calendar Saturday, September 3rd, 4th, 5th. Let's see. That's 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Whole weekend. Neesmith, South Carolina. Come out and get some of that good, clean, fresh country air. You can see that beautiful, um, that beautiful. Let me pull some up. I'm only gonna pull up a an image. I got some drone shots, but they're all in 4K, and if I put them in here on 4K, it's gonna slow everything down. Boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah. So again, this is all going to take place. This conversation by the campfire, and all of that is going to take place at this beautiful place right there. Let me move this off the screen right here. Do-do-do-do. Boom, 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 boom. All right, yeah. So that's what's happening, man. Indigo Festival at this beautiful place right here. Wine tasting. It's gonna be great. So that's what it is. I appreciate you guys again working on this new platform. Things are becoming a little bit more clear to me. So the production value will increase. Again, also this Thursday, be on the lookout for the next episode of I Can Conversations with my man Eric J. Morton. Also had my man Jared reach out today to me about a podcast that those guys are putting together for next Wednesday. Um, I'll get the information on the topic here soon, and I'll be able to run it down to you. I forgot what I'm looking for now. I forgot what I'm looking for. I forgot what I'm looking for, guys. So anyway, let's get out of that. But I appreciate you guys, and enjoy the rest of your evening or the rest of your day. Again, if you're still hanging around now, please hit the like button so that we can bring more people in on Into Andrews the podcast, where I will be posting videos again soon. I should have recorded this, but I didn't. Anyway, I'm out.